What up? What up? What it is? What it do? You know who it is. Who are you? Back again with the fellas from the 22 Twos. However, it's just me, the most opinionated man in podcasting. Yes, it is I, the man who drinks more than Nori, who has more opinions than Stephen A. Smith, and I got better stories than Fat Joe. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, it's not cap. This is all true. Anyway, I'm here on Kickoff Thursday because of the 22 Twos podcast. We've been getting y'all consistently with the 60-second in news. We got to give you a rundown. We got to break down what we think in this situation. I think who are going to be division winners, who are going to be our conference champions, who are going to represent and win in the Super Bowl. All right, we're going to not waste too much time. We're going to get into it. We're going to go ahead and jump straight over to We the North, the AFC North. Arguably one of the toughest divisions in football. We got some juggernauts of the history of football. You know, the Steelers, you got the Ravens, you got the Bengals, you got the Cleveland Browns, and my boy Shedeur Sanders, who hopefully gets some chance at getting in the game. Probably get week 3, I'd say. I don't, as an old man myself, I know Joe Flacco ain't got a full season in him. But anyway, we got Vegas win totals for the Bengals 9.5, Ravens 11.5, Steelers 8.5, Browns 5.5. You're looking at division as a whole, who probably has the one of the tougher strength of schedules as a division overall. But it's an easy pick for me. It's a super easy pick. No surprise, my podcast mates would probably be like, "Oh yeah, whatever. You're picking your team." I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna surprise a lot of people, and I honestly feel like the Steelers' defense is amazing. I think it's gonna keep them in close games. Pretty much the same situation that Aaron Rodgers was in New York, but they couldn't score points. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Steelers, and simply because I feel like the Bengals and the Ravens are one injury away from those win totals being 5 less. So let's see how that shapes out. Moving over to the AFC South, where we got the Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts, Houston Texans. It's an interesting division. Light strength of schedule. The best team in the division, though, has the hardest schedule out of the 4. Vegas over under. Houston Texans 9.5 wins. Indianapolis Colts 7.5 wins. Tennessee Titans 5.5 wins. Jacksonville Jaguars 7.5 wins. I don't know how they project the Jacksonville Jaguars to have 7.5 wins. Travis Hunter, great addition. I don't think he moves the needle that much. They have been on a downward trend, and I think they'll keep moving in that direction. They will have a top 5 pick probably next year, if you ask me. I think this is the Houston Texans division to lose, even though they have one of the harder strength of schedules. And again, like I said, Daniel Jones, he's the best interviewer in football. He's gonna look great when he's trying to win the job. When it comes time to do the job, he's gonna shit the bed. But anyway, moving on. AFC West. We got the Broncos, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Chiefs. All right. So this division for last few years should have been one of the tougher divisions to play in, and the Chiefs has made it look like a cakewalk. This year, however, I think it's going to be different. Everybody is high on Denver. The Chargers, they are who they are going to be under Jim Harbaugh. The Raiders, I think they're going to shock a lot of people. And the Chiefs, I think, they got something to show. They were exposed in the Super Bowl, and they gotta bounce back. The Chiefs got an 11.5 win total, Raiders 6.5, and the Broncos and the Chargers are both at 9.5. But I think strength of schedule is going to play a part in it. I think the Raiders are going to shock. I think don't ever discredit Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. I think they just have a chip on their shoulder all the time, and more so now. But if I'm going to pick a division winner, I'm going to pick a shocker. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I think the Chargers go ahead and win that division. They look like a solid football team, and if if Herbert can stay healthy, they're gonna be a tough win for anybody. Coming over to the AFC East, um, you got the Patriots, the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets. Guess what? They all have easy schedules. Top half of the league in terms of schedules. However, Jets 5.5 win total, Dolphins 8.5, Bills 11.5, Patriots 7.5. This one's easy, guys. I'm not gonna waste a bunch of time. Uh, it's the Bills. Bills are gonna win this division, far running away with it. You know, nobody circles the wagons, and the rest of the division won't even see the wagons. Coming on over to NFC, we're gonna start again in We the North. Another tough division, right up there in terms of toughest division in the league. Also, really, really hard strength of schedule. We're talking about the 23rd, 26th, 28th, and 30th strength of schedule. They got tough sledding in that division. However, really good teams, teams that are trending upwards. Um, you know, a lot of people are saying this is Jordan Love's MVP season. Caleb Williams is gonna show up and show out. We got to see what JJ McCartney does over there in Minnesota. Lots of praise coming out of Minnesota for him. You got the Detroit Lions, who are kind of flying under the radar for a team that won the division last year, and went pretty deep into the playoffs. Vegas has got the division shaping out like 9.5 wins for the Packers, 8.5 for the Bears, 8.5 for the Vikings, 10.5 for the Lions. And I got to ride with Vegas on this one. The brand new Lions and MCDC gonna do their damn thing. I don't see, I see everybody trending upward, but I still see the Lions and that high power offense, that great defense coming back fully healthy, being a problem. Not just in their division, but for the entire league. So watch out for anybody who plays them. Moving on to probably what I would say in the more recent history has been the worst division in NFL, the NFC South, where we got the Saints, the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Bucks. Super strength, easy strength of schedule. Nobody strength of schedule outside the top 10. And still Vegas win totals are 9.5 for the Bucks, 6.5 for the Panthers, 7.5 for the Falcons, 6.5 for the Saints. I think the Bucks, have a chance to go ahead and take this division. But another sentimental pick, if you will, for me, I'm gonna go with the Falcons. They're only 2 games behind the Bucks and the Vegas odds, and I believe that my boy Michael Penix Jr. is gonna show up and put the world on notice that for the next 8 years, because he is 25, he is gonna be one of the top quarterbacks in the league, and gonna do his thing. That boy is gonna sling the pill down the field and make some noise. So I got the Falcons winning the NFC South. Going over to the West Coast, the left coast, NFC West, 49ers, Cardinals, Seahawks, and Rams. Pretty average strength of schedule for them. The 49ers do have the easiest strength of schedule, which kind of translates into why Vegas is saying they have a 10.5 win total. Cardinals 8.5, Seahawks 7.5, Rams at 9.5. I think the wild card here is if Matthew Stafford stays healthy, Davante Adams is somewhat of what Davante Adams is. I think the Rams win more than 9.5 games. I think they challenge the 49ers, who, in my opinion, have plateaued, if not are on their downward trend and looking towards a rebuild around Brock Purdy. But you can't count my boy George Kittle out. So it's a close one. I'm going to stick with the 49ers. Stick with 49ers and Brock and George Kittle, and Juwan Jennings has something to play for with those incentives in his contract. Finally, we are at home The NFC East, Commanders, Cowgirls, Eagles, and my New York Giants. Tough strength of schedule. Everybody is in the lower half of the league when it comes to strength of schedule. Biggest win totals are 9.5 for the Commanders, 7.5 for the Cowboys, 11.5 for the Eagles, and 5.5 for the 5.5 for the lowly New York Giants. I think Vegas is wrong. I don't think the Giants are going to shock the world and make a run, but they could because no one's won this division back-to-back years in 20-something years. So I don't think the Eagles will win it. I think Jaden Daniels. Let's see what happens in first 3 games. Let's see if it was a rookie fluke. If he has a sophomore slump, I think it'll be a much closer division than everybody is expecting. I think the Cowboys will be better than people expect, even though they traded away Micah Parsons. The best defense in the division, though, hands down, is going to be the New York Giants. The recipe is there. It's been there. You saw the Giants do it twice before when no one expected it, but they had an amazing defensive line that wreaked havoc on opposing teams. And if Russell Wilson can show some magic, and even if he can't, if Jackson Dart can show some magic, and even if he can't, if Jameis Williams can show some magic, guess what? Giants gonna shock the world, which I don't think is that. Anyway, I think 5.5 is about right for them. I think they're trending upwards, so I'm looking forward to my Giants in the coming years. I'm gonna ride with the glorious King Saquon. I'm gonna stick with the Eagles on this. We'll see if anyone can figure out how to stop that run game. I know I was all over the place in NFC East. That is home. And my thought on the NFC East has always been this anybody's division, and that has been proven so time and time again. So I'm just gonna go with the safe bet. I'm gonna go with the defending champion, the Eagles, as the division winners for the NFC East. Now let's talk about who's gonna win the conference championships for each of the conferences. It's pretty easy, pretty easy on the NFC side. I think there is no match for the Eagles when it comes to winning in the playoffs. Even if they don't win the division and they make the playoffs, I don't think they'll have a tough time doing what it is they do in December and January to win football games when you got to win ugly, which is what they're going to do. So I think the Eagles go ahead and go to the Super Bowl back-to-back. But I think your boy Josh Allen finally gets over the hump. I think the Bills go ahead and do the thing. They represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. And what I am going to do, which I'm not going to do actually, I'm not going to give you my pick. I'm going to save it for when me and the fellas get back together and we go ahead and give you the full rundown on week 1 of this NFL season. Super excited is here. Super excited to bring you content. Super excited, to tap in with the fellas once they're back from their responsibilities. But it's been your boy Maneuvers for the 22 Twos podcast. Please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and tap in with your boys on the 22 Twos. We're going to make sure we keep giving you the content. We got a lot of hip-hop news to talk about. We got a special episode on hip-hop. We're going to have some special on-location kind of situations going on. We got some giveaways that we about to do. It's going to be a big year for the 22 Twos podcast. And please tune in. Please, support us however you can. Please let everyone know. And we're going to have some special guests. I can't forget that. Special guests coming on the podcast as well. Anyway, it's Maneuvers from the 22 Twos podcast, and we are out.